In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. To the people of the United States of America, and to all those who, amid a flood of distortion and manufactured narratives, continue to seek the truth and aspire to a better life. Iran, by this very name, character, and identity, is one of the oldest continuous civilizations in human history. Despite its historical and geographical advantages at various times, Iran has never, in its modern history, chosen the path of aggression, expansion, colonialism, or domination. Even after enduring occupation, invasion, and sustained pressure from global powers, and despite possessing military superiority over many of its neighbors, Iran has never initiated a war. Yet it has resultantly and bravely repelled those who have attacked it. The Iranian people harbor no enmity towards other nations, including the people of America, Europe, or neighboring countries. Even in the face of repeated foreign interventions and pressures throughout their proud history, Iranians have consistently drawn a clear distinction between governments and the peoples they govern. This is a deeply rooted principle in Iranian culture and collective consciousness, not a temporary political stance. For this reason, portraying Iran as a threat is neither consistent with historical reality nor with present day observable facts. Such a perception is the product of political and economic whims of the powerful, the need to manufacture an enemy in order to justify pressure, maintain military dominance, sustain the arms industry, and control strategic markets. In such an environment, if a threat does not exist, it is invented. Within this same framework, the United States has concentrated the largest number of its forces, bases, and military capabilities around Iran, a country that, at least since the founding of the United States, has never initiated a war. Recent American aggressions launched from these very bases have demonstrated how threatening such a military presence truly is. Naturally, no country confronted with such conditions would forego strengthening its defensive capabilities. What Iran has done and continues to do is a measured response grounded in legitimate self defense and by no means an initiation of war or aggression. Relations between Iran and the United States were not originally hostile, and early interactions between the Iranian and American people were not marred with hostility or tension. The turning point, however, was the 1953 coup d'etat, an illegal American intervention aimed at preventing the nationalization of Iran's own resources. That coup disrupted Iran's democratic process, reinstated dictatorship, and sowed deep distrust among Iranians towards U.S. policies. That distrust deepened further with American support of the Shah regime and his backing of the Saddam Hussein during the imposed war of 1980. The imposition of the longest and most comprehensive sanction in modern history, and ultimately unprovoked military aggression twice in the midst of negotiations against Iran. Yet all of these pressures have failed to weaken Iran. On the contrary, the country has grown stronger in many areas. Literacy rates have tripled from roughly 30% before the Islamic Revolution to over 90% today. Higher education has expanded dramatically. Significant advances have been achieved in modern technology. Healthcare services have improved. The infrastructure has developed at a pace and scale incomparable to the past. These are measurable, observable realities that stand independent of fabricated narratives. At the same time, the destructive and inhumane impact of sanctions, war, and aggression on the lives of the resilient Iranian people must not be underestimated. The continuation of military aggression and recent bombings profoundly affect people's lives, attitudes, and perspectives. This reflects a fundamental human truth. When war inflicts irreparable harm on lives, homes, cities, and futures, people will not remain indifferent towards those responsible. This raises a fundamental question. Which exactly of the American people's interests are truly being served by this war? Was there any objective threat from Iran to justify such behavior? Does the massacre of innocent children, the destruction of cancer treatment pharmaceutical facilities, or boasting about bombing a country back to the Stone Ages serve any purpose other than further damaging the United States' global standing? Iran pursued negotiations, reached an agreement, and fulfilled all of its commitments. The decision to withdraw from that agreement escalated towards confrontation and launched two attacks of aggression in the midst of negotiation were destructive choices made by the United States government, choices that served the delusions of a foreign aggressor. Attacking Iran's vital infrastructure, including energy and industrial facilities, directly targets the Iranian people. Beyond constituting a war crime, such actions carry consequences that extend far beyond Iran's borders. They generate instability, increase human and economic costs, and perpetuate cycles of tension, planting seeds of resentment that will endure for years. This is not a demonstration of strength. It is a sign of strategic bewilderment and an inability to achieve sustainable solution. Is it not also the case that America has entered this aggression as a proxy for Israel, influenced and manipulated by that regime? Is it not true that Israel, by manufacturing an Iranian threat, seeks to divert global attention away from its crimes towards the Palestinians? Is it not evident that Israel now aims to fight Iran to the last American soldier and the last American taxpaying dollar, shifting the burden of its delusions into Iran, the region, and the United States itself in its pursuit of illegitimate interests? Is America first truly among the priorities of the United States government today? I invite you to look beyond the machinery of misinformation, an integral part of this aggression, and instead speak to those who have visited Iran. Observe the many accomplished Iranian immigrants educated in Iran who now teach and conduct research at the world's most prestigious universities or contribute to the most advanced technology firms in the West. Do these realities align with the distortions you are being told about Iran and its people? Today, the world stands at a crossroads. Continuing along the path of confrontation is more costly and futile than ever before. The choice between confrontation and engagement is both real and consequential. Its outcomes will shape the future for generations to come. Throughout its millennia of proud history, Iran has outlasted many aggressors. All that remains of them are tarnished names in history, while Iran endures, resilient, dignified, and proud. That was the open letter from Iran to the American people.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel once again. In case you are new in this channel or if you are come across this video, please remember to subscribe, like and also comment. So guys, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian, he posted an open letter to the American people. Shows that Iran has no any hostility to the ordinary American people because of the leadership and also the Iran people. So after posted, Donald Trump really went and reacted towards later his speech about Iran update. And also I want also to hear your thoughts in the comment section about this video. So let's watch this video and at the end then I come back with more comment. This video only made for the educational purpose and also made for the entertainment. It's not really made for the spread of the hate speech. So let's continue watching this video together and then we will come back later with more comments.
All right, if you have not seen it, Iran's President Pezeshkian put out a statement addressing basically the United States people, the American people, explaining Iran's position and what's going on. And I'll put it this way. If it's propaganda, it's the best I've ever seen, but I don't take it as that. I think they're honestly trying to appeal to the American public because they did not start this conflict. That's not even debatable. They did not start this conflict. And a lot of things that he said in there seemed very familiar to me, and I couldn't quite place it. And, you know, is it John Green's got that book, Everything's Tuberculosis? And I kept thinking, like, we need another book. I don't think John Green would write this one, but Everything is Reagan. We need a book that's just Everything is Reagan. Because as I read the statement that the Iranian president put out, I realized something very funny, which was that this term kept coming into my head. I couldn't quite... it was there, and I was like, why does this sound so familiar? And then I remembered Iran-Contra. Iran-Contra. We in this country, our leadership anyway, cannot stand but to meddle in the affairs of other countries to a detriment. Go look into Iran-Contra and go see what we did. Go see what the United States did and see how that shapes things now and why we are not and continue to be not the good guys. We're not. And America has not been good in a long time. We haven't been great or good in a long time. We keep letting leadership in this country do things that we should not be involved in. And particularly in the Middle East, man. We just love to screw with things over there. So at this point, let's say it was complete, horse hockey, what the president of Iran is saying. Let's say it was complete just crap and was just BS. It still doesn't change the fact that our own government could be doing better to address its people. But at this point, it's really clear who the bad guy is when they're ignoring their own people, have no appeal to sympathy, nothing, and they just keep hammering on and keep doing that. And it really is ridiculous. But I just wanted to put this out there that the people that are supposed to be the bad guys, they're just not. And they haven't been. We have not been attacked by them. They have not been coming at us. And all of this fear mongering about Iran has been wrong and continues to be wrong. And we have used every excuse. In the Bush Jr. era, we were using the excuse of other countries around there, but Americans are so dumb, they don't know the difference between Afghanistan, Iraq, and Iran. They don't understand it. So they assume it's all one place, and those are just cities in one place. And they're not. They're different countries. So at this point, as I've said before, we deserve whatever's coming to us. And they still won't. That's the thing. They still won't. Even in all of this, Iran will only go after those that are in charge. They will only go after those that they know are causing the problems. They've made that clear at least twice I say this month, meaning all of March, but we're in the first, I'm filming this video April 1st, but they've been very clear about that. They're going after American assets, not American citizens on the whole. And I know people are arguing, but aren't soldiers American citizens? They are, but they're supporting what the dictatorship in our country is doing. So they've put themselves in that line. And yes, it's arguable back and forth at this point that they have a right to refuse to do so or not, but it's just like with a lot of other things. Those that don't want to support this, they are free to leave the military. I don't care what anybody says. That I've heard people be like, oh, they can't because there'd be a crime. If I was in the military right now and I'm being told to go do things over in the Middle East that I don't agree with, on the grounds of what's happening and how this conflict, which is being touted as a war, was started, I would rather be sitting in a jail cell. Because I might have the possibility of clearing my name in the future, but I will not be able to prevent myself from getting, taken out overseas because I'm supporting a regime that is completely wrong in what's happening. But that's every service member's own personal decision to make. I'm not saying there's not consequences. If your argument is that I'm saying it'd be consequence free, that's not what I'm saying. But if I knew I had the ability to lay down arms and not participate in the stuff going on with Israel and other places that are not right, I would lay down arms and rather be imprisoned. Don't care. I would rather not support that regime. So anyway, just wanted to get this out there. Feel free to leave your comments below. Again, filtering is on for these videos of this type, always is, because people are just dumb and don't understand things. Please go look into Iran-Contra to see what we did back from 81 to 80, I think it was 86, and look into what that shaped. There's so many things we have done that I think about that the United States has participated in that we shouldn't have. We have needed change. It's not just we need change. We have needed change for so long, and it just seems to not be coming. If you're in Iran and you're watching this, please understand that I know that what our government is doing wrong is wrong, and I'm not supporting that, but I don't have a lot of options as a citizen. So all I can say is I'm sorry that we are doing this for no reason whatsoever, that we're doing what we're doing. I mean, there's reasons, but there's not any reasons whatsoever that the American public should be supporting. So please know that I don't condone this, and that if I had any power beyond just voting to change things, I would and will. But at this point, there's not much control I have over things. So that's all I've got for now, guys. I do apologize for the length of the video and for everything that's taking place in the world. I just feel like everything should be so much better than it is, and it's just not. But here we are. Anyways, guys.
I want to talk to you guys about this letter, right? The letter that the Iranian president has issued out to the American citizens, to the United States citizens. Number one, it was to the United States citizens, not the United States government. Mind you, the United States government has been pleading for weeks now, for about 2 weeks, to have conversations with Iran, and Iran has denied it each and every time. They came to us. That's a red flag. So already before even reading it, I'm already like, this is not a good sign. After reading it, I'm like, oh no, this is definitely not a good sign. Now, y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, right? But my understanding, my perception of this letter is that this is Iran's last attempt in them defending themselves, explaining their stance, and also issuing out the truth to the United States citizens. This is their last time trying to explain everything to us. And when I say that this is their last time explaining to us, this is their last time explaining before everything that's about to go down actually goes down. Because once that starts, right? Once that phase of this war begins, Iran will not have time to explain to you all, United States citizens, why everything is going down the way that it's going down. They are giving us this last opportunity to basically accept the truth at our own discretion. The way that Iran organized that letter, they said everything that they needed to say. Everything that they needed to say. They started off with their history, highlighting that they have one of the oldest civilizations in history, and that throughout their entire history, not once have they ever initiated a war. Iran's president stated that throughout the entire existence of Iran, that they do not have one moment in history that supports or provides evidence that Iran has ever supported or condoned colonialism, destruction, domination, has initiated any war ever, that they have never imposed any type of sanction that has impacted the civilians of any nation. They broke that down, unlike the United States. After stating that historical fact, Iran, in the letter, states that portraying Iran as a threat is neither consistent with historical reality nor with present day observable facts. And in the letter, they say all of that to explain how is it that your government was able to successfully run this propaganda about us, Iran, starting the war when we don't even have the history that supports that we are capable of this, that we do this. They are trying to make you, the American citizen, who is supposed to be the reader, understand exactly what's going on. A country that has never, throughout its entire history, who is older than the United States, has never initiated a war, yet the United States was able to successfully spread propaganda about this country and this war. Let that sink in. In the letter, they then, Iran, explained to everybody that the Iranian people have no hate towards the American citizens, towards any European, towards anybody, to be honest, right? That they, right, in their government has always made the clear distinction between government and the people. You understand how that distinction is deeply rooted in principle and collective consciousness, something that we don't have here in the United States. He pointed it out. That statement was not only made to disgrace and shame the United States government, but also the citizens, the active citizens that elected these people into these positions. And then right before the letter ends, you're now at the point, if you're reading it, right? You are 3/4 into the letter. Iran poses the fundamental question: exactly which of the American people's interests are truly being served by this war? Was there any objective threat from Iran to justify such behavior? They're asking you, the United States citizens, what did they do to deserve this? What can your government, the American government, say to justify such actions? What did they do? They're asking you, the American citizens. They want you guys to open up your eyes and see what the fuck is going on. All of these actions that the United States government is implementing, is imposing, on whose interest, on behalf of whose interest are they for? Iran stated multiple times in that letter that they will defend themselves, and they are defending themselves, that they will not stand down. This letter is their last attempt in explaining their position to the United States citizens before what goes down actually goes the fuck down. That's
Donald Trump is scheduled to address the nation tonight. But before that, earlier today, the Iranian president issued a letter addressed to the people of the United States. Let's break down what he said and why it matters. He starts by addressing the American people directly, saying that there's a lot of misinformation being spread about Iran. He urges people to look for the truth. He emphasizes that Iran is one of the oldest continuous civilizations in history. and claims that in modern times, Iran has never started a war. It only defended itself from being attacked. He made it clear that Iranians don't hate Americans or other nations. And in their culture, there's a strong distinction between government and civilians. Then he challenges the idea that Iran is a global threat. He argues that the narrative is manufactured by powerful countries. This is used to justify military presence, arms sales, and control over global markets. Basically, he's saying if a threat doesn't exist, create one, which sounds kind of familiar.
It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel.
He points out that the United States has surrounded Iran with bases and forces, and says that Iran's military buildup is for self-defense, not aggression. He brings up a major turning point in U.S.-Iranian relations, the 1953 U.S.-backed coup, saying it destroyed Iran's democracy and created long-term distrust. He adds that this distrust comes from the United States' support of Saddam Hussein in the 1980s war, heavy sanctions, and recent military actions. Despite all that, he says Iran has actually grown stronger, highlighting major increases in literacy, education, healthcare, technology, infrastructure. But he also stresses that the sanctions and war have deeply harmed everyday Iranian people, and warns that continuing bombing will only create long-term resentment. Then he asks a direct questions to Americans. What interest does this war actually serve? He questions whether there was ever a real threat from Iran, and criticizes the killing of civilians and destruction of critical facilities. He claims Iran honored past agreements, and that the U.S. decided to withdraw and escalate tensions instead. He warns that attacking Iran's infrastructure doesn't just hurt Iran, it creates global instability and long-term consequences. Then he makes a bigger accusation that the U.S. is being dragged into the conflict by Israel, suggesting that Israel benefits from Iran being framed as a threat, and shifting global attention away from their actions. He questions whether America First is really being prioritized. He encourages Americans to look beyond media narratives and consider the reality of the Iranian people, including highly educated immigrants contributing to science and technology all around the world. And he ends with a warning and a choice. The world is at a crossroads. Continuing conflict will only cost more. The real decision now is between confrontation and engagement, and that choice will shape future generations. But I'm just talking.
I watched Donald Trump's speech last night to the nation, so you didn't have to, but here are some of the most ridiculous things he said that are just flat out lies.
The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country, made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year.
The United States economy is doing horribly right now. Gas is almost $6 a gallon in California. People can't afford rent. People can't afford bills. The price of groceries is higher than ever. And to hear the president, who is a billionaire, go online and rant about the stock prices, which the average American doesn't own, and how America is doing better than ever, when internally American citizens feel as if the money being spent abroad can be spent here to focus on school, daycare, healthcare, and infrastructure, is a slap in the face. So once again, I'm going to ask this throughout this video: how do you guys who are poor from Iowa, Nebraska, and farmers continue to support a man who only fills his coffers and makes his friends rich?
And we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. The countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on.
The United States imports roughly 600,000 barrels a day from Saudi Arabia and up to 350,000 barrels a day from Iraq. This oil all comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And even if it didn't, global markets dictate the price of oil, which is why the oil increase and shortage around the world cause prices to go up. Trump has also threatened to stop sending aid to Ukraine if the Europeans do not help his war in Iran, to come on and start a war that no one needed because Iran wasn't actual imminent threat to us and weren't going to attack us because Iran doesn't officially attack other nations in the region, especially abroad, and then try to rope the EU into your war, and then now you're blaming them for not securing the Strait of Hormuz because you're scared to go in to Iran and actually fight them head on?
In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks.
Not only has this war been sloppy, unnecessary, and messy, you have actually bombed a children's school with hundreds of kids in it. So no, your actions have not been swift and have not been direct. We've also shot at our own planes, and we've also had our own army personnel injured by America and America's actions. So no. And to continuously claim that Iran is decimated while Iran is sending out videos inviting Americas and troops to come on the ground saying that they're ready for you and showing their Navy, you can't just continuously lie, because American eyes have not even seen your efforts in the war. We haven't seen anything. All we've seen is you bomb a couple of factories. That doesn't mean Iran is decimated, and I doubt that they're decimated because they're on a bombing campaign right now in Israel and in the Middle East, your allies.
The second largest reserves on Earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies.
America produces the most oil in the world. That is a true statement. But what he's leaving out, and what most MAGA dummies won't even research, is why we import. We're a net oil importer. We actually export more oil than we import. But we import around 8 million barrels of oil a day because our refineries are not made for the oil that we actually have in America. So America produces something called like light sweet crude oil. Our refineries, though, are made for sour, heavy crude oil, the oil that comes from other places, to refine that. So it's easier for us to export our oil and for us to import the oil. But just so you know, the oil that we actually use in this country is imported, not our own oil. I mean, the more he talks about Iran, this whole video, is the more it sounds like he's talking about Israel. And I think that is just projection of everything that's going on. To continuously say, like, we've never seen any military action like this before. The world has never seen it. I'm the greatest president to ever do anything. Show us the tapes. Show us this illustrious force of America taking out the Iranian regime. Show us that Iran is toppled. Show us that they don't exist anymore, because you're lying. I think having to have endured this man my whole life, being a New Yorker, I've endured Trump my whole life. So he's been a scamming, lying sleazeball from Queens my whole life. But now to see his scams and his lies dictate the will of the American people when the majority of American people don't support what he's doing is so infuriating. Because the things he's lying about, I know people are believing, but it's all easily researchable. Have a good rest of you guys' day.
This is the resistance. I just posted a video on my repost of a guy reading a letter from Iran to Americans, appealing to Americans. And as a Black American, I know that everything in that letter is true. How do I know that? Because as a Black American, this country has done nothing but take from us. They've taken our land. They've taken our names, our titles. They've taken our nationality, our ethnicity. They've taken our native languages. They've taken lives from us. They've taken families from us. They've taken education from us, knowledge from us. They've taken culture from us, music styles, dance moves, choreography, everything. Everything that this place has been taken and has been stolen. How can you not allow the appeal that Iran just sent, that the letter of appeal that Iran just sent, how can you not allow that to resonate with you? Because it is the truth. And I resonate with the truth. There's so many things that were said in that letter that I want to address piece by piece, but the thing that I'm thinking about right now is how they aligned with Saddam Hussein to go against Iran, and then they ended up killing Saddam Hussein too. And they ended up accusing him of being an insurgent. So as long as we need you, we'll work with you. But then when we don't need you anymore, you've got to go. Rotten to the core is the only thing I can think of. And anybody that supports this atrocity is rotten to the core, and you're going to go down with it. It's a sinking ship. And you guys are going to go down with it.
I don't know how many times this orange-headed beast lied. He lied so damn much I could not keep up. One, he said that there was actual talks between him and Iran. There are no fucking talks. And the regime changes happened after y'all assassinated their leaders. Two, he said he's taking out their Navy, their Air Force. They barely got anything. If they barely got anything, why the fuck are they taking out Israel left and right? Inflation is not down. It's almost at 4%. Economy is not booming. It's barely making it. We are steady at the moment. Employment is between 4.4 and 4.6. Low hire, and we gonna fire. Gas is around $4 a goddamn gallon. None of our allies are coming to our rescue. He lied on service members, family members, talking about they told him to finish the job. They did not say that shit. All he did was try to boast about himself and how great he was doing and how great he did at removing Obama's trading deal with Iran. He also lied about Iran being the ones that attacked first. When it came to Wigs R Us bragging about those B-2 bombers he did last year, baby, we didn't hit shit. They confirmed it. Strait of Hormuz still belongs to Iran. They still popping off on everybody and mama. We don't have a ceasefire deal. There are no communications. And our economy is suffering for it. And we're losing service members because of it. And all that motherfucker can do out there is just brag about what he's done. He's done nothing. He's a fucking idiot.
Hello guys, welcome back. So I hope you have just watched the reaction from the Americans and also the reaction from the Black American about this letter, because this tension that is really happening now, in case such kind of letter, open letter really happen, it creates a lot of tension among the citizens. And this letter directly went to the ordinary America. So this shows that Iran has no any hostility with ordinary American, and means that the Americans are not their enemies. So the Black American, they really came out and react toward this war. And also we saw how Donald Trump really panicking, and he went and made a speech. Majority of you expected Trump really to have good speech, but that speech not directly involves the Iran, and it also spread the outrage that maybe he wants the ceasefire with Iran so that he can end this war. So this letter from the president of Iran called Masoud Beskan. He posted that open letter. And one thing I normally know that we have this is the two things that really work together, because we have the Donald Trump, we have the government, we have the leadership, and also we have the ordinary American. So this letter is not only directed to the leadership or any directed to the Donald Trump. It went direct to the American. So American citizen, saying that Iran has no any hostility with American normal citizen or black American. This shows that the people that is really trying to bring this chaos and this messes is the leadership, that is the Donald Trump, because this war is not really for the America. This war is not, America is just, Donald Trump is just entering this war that is not really meant for the America. This war is for the other nations, but he has used this war really to have that, to misuse the American taxpayers' money, sending to the Israel, sending to the other nations so that it can really fight Iran. So, and Iran has no any grudge, any hostility with the Americans, and that's why we have just seen how those reaction after that. We have just seen how the Iran, he said that black American, they are really safe from this war. So this really means that this Iran has no intention with America, but America is the one that is just looking for the this war between them and between these two nations. And also they have just seen how that reaction, how these people are really reacting very bad. They are really very tired with the leadership of the Donald Trump. They don't want really to have that man in office, because he has failed America badly. He's not prioritizing what is being needed in America. So he's busy fighting the other nation like this one. And Iran is a threat for him, because he's not really sleeping. Donald Trump, for now, he's not sleeping. He is really panicking a lot about this war, because wherever he made a speech, Iran responded. Because he made a speech about giving the America, Donald Trump gave Iran ultimatum 48 hours. Then Iran responded with that letter giving him 24 hours. So this is the war that is really Donald Trump is fighting, but is not losing. Majority, when you just go and analyze very well, majority of people, they are saying that even before Donald Trump started this war with Iran, he has already lose. That is how the reaction from the majority of people, they are really trying to talk about this war within Iran. And this is not the way to go, because you must be working for the people. You must be work smart, because Donald Trump is not really working smart. And that's why this kind of letters that is really sent open by the president of Iran, it says that this man is not working smart, because if he can maybe working smart, it might be having the different cases he has maybe solved. But he's not working smart. He's very busy, and the generals is resigning each and every day. Each and every day you wake up early morning, you get a message that the general has been resigned from the United States. That is how this is the things are being had. The bad things really happening. People are very much tired with this leadership. They don't want really to see this Donald Trump leadership. They just want to see a leader that is really good. And that is how this letter. So guys, I want to hear from you. Do you really think this message is genuine? And do you think it is the political strategy, or do you think this is both? drop your thoughts in comment section, because this one, those stories where everybody has the different opinion. So if you really want to hear the trending stories, the trending story about the black community, the black American, just hit that subscription button to this channel, like and also comment, because we will be bringing more and more update of these videos in this channel. So please remember to hit that subscription button, like, and don't remember to subscribe to this channel. I'm your host, Team Tessie Reaction. If you haven't subscribed, do so now. Let's meet in the next one.